Hello, my name's Carole, this is my sewing room and you're joining me for a fun collaboration that I have done with the lovely Izzy from Dizzy Quilts and Sews. Now I'm sure you all know Izzy. She is fantastically talented, based in Canada. She can quilt, she can sew, she can do cricket, she's just awesome, and she still holds a job as well, so I'm so in awe of her. So we decided, because I sew mainly big 4 patterns, I do sew some indie patterns as long as they're the printed version, but she doesn't very often sew the big 4, and the problem is sizing, is pure sizing. As we all know, indie patterns have a better size range and a lot of them accommodate sort of fuller busts into their patterns and things like that, whereas the big 4 are very much standard. So I've been trying to encourage her to maybe just venture into some big 4 as a bit of a joke between the two of us. So we chose to do a pattern and we decided to stick to just a basic t-shirt. Now this is my version, McCalls 6964. There is a Butterick version which is very similar. I'll put the number down below. But basically it's what they call the palm pleat system, and that's a pattern tissue fitting system. So the idea is you get a fantastic fit by using the pattern pieces and measure them to your body before you start sewing. Now both Izzy and I crave a t-shirt where we haven't got the lines here. You know, a fitted t-shirt without these lines. We're both on the same mission, so we thought we can't go wrong with this, surely we can work this. So I want to take you along on my journey. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but I'm going to take you along my journey. Now I will apologise because of the first part of the videos I actually filmed on my phone, therefore it's in portrait mode, and I'm really sorry, but you do get the black either side. But please stick with me because further in I actually swap back to doing it landscape, so it makes it better. But yeah, follow me along on my journey of trying to work out what on earth I'm meant to be doing with this system, and how I got on with my FBA. I made this pattern once before, but I literally just cut out the size that I thought, and I remembered it being quite tight. Now I'm going to this time do exactly what it says. And I have actually searched on YouTube palm pleat t-shirt, and up came a video by the lovely Joy Bernhardt that's been around on YouTube sewing channel for a long time. But she did exactly what it said as well, involving taping it all together. You cut it out roughly, tape it together and mark the seam line. So I'm actually going to do exactly what she said. I've got the tape, I've got the red pencil, and what they say to do is I've done the upper bust measurement, and it says according to the upper bust measurement, kind of map out where you're, for me it's going to be, it says it's going to be a 10. I probably would have chosen that anyway, to be fair, but the idea is then so this is the 10 line, that you come into the seam allowance and you actually mark the seam allowance and put the tape over the seam allowance, and then you can pin it all together. The tape sort of secures it, stops the tissue paper bit from tearing, and then you can pin it on and then see how you stand. I noticed that they've got, I can't decide whether to do, I've got 2 fronts because I can't decide whether to do round neck or V-neck. I will in a minute. But if you notice, they've got the lines all ready to do if you need to do a full bust adjustment. I'm hoping I won't need to, but I bet I will. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it all up, mark the seam allowance, tape it all up, and then try it on. I'm a little bit lucky as I've got this seam allowance ruler. So this is 1.5 centimetres. So that's 5/8 of an inch, and I got this because I do the Lutterlow system where you don't have a seam allowance. I got this, I think, from, where does it say? Stitchbuzz.com. But that means I can follow around the lines and I can do the seam allowance quite easily. Now I'm sure this is going to be really hard for you to see, but can you see those red pencil marks? That's actually where the seam lines would go. And that's actually it's quite interesting to see actually how much of the pattern is taken away. So now what I'm going to do is put some tape all along that and then pin it together. I've actually done what they said as well and get hold of some removable tape. And this is Scotch tape and it's really, really clear. I know you can't see them, but I can really see my marks underneath it. So I can't believe I'm actually doing exactly what they say and not just barging into making it. Now, would I be this good if I wasn't doing this with the lovely Izzy? I don't know. I wonder if she's doing this. Okay, excuse my appearance. So I've done what they said and pinned it together. I have to say this is really, really tight. But I mean, what we've got to bear in mind is this is going to be jersey, so it's going to be stretchy. So as you see, it's all pinned together. So it's really tricky to kind of work it out yourself. Now, so that's meant to meet my centre back, and this is meant to meet my centre front. And I think I am about an inch off, which would imply I needed a full bust adjustment. I wonder where will I go from here if I do a full bust adjustment, but that to me looks like I need a little bit more fabric on the back because it's about an inch off there. Okay, I've decided I'm not going to chicken out. I'm going to try and do a full bust adjustment, but they've got all the instructions here. They do talk about a wide bust alteration if you need more width in your lower chest area to cover your fluff, and I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about there. So I'm just going to do the full bust injection, and it says we've got you cut on line 1 there, 2, 3. It's meant to be quite simple, so I'm just going to follow the instructions and see how I get on. So I'm cutting up that line, and then I'm cutting to, it says almost to the armhole seam, but not quite. So I've got the hinge there, anchor pattern to cardboard cutting board with pins angled and shown. Right, okay, I'm going to have to go and find that. So I then cut this line 2, and then I've got this triangle here, and then I've got 1/2 inch here, and this seems to be level now. But it says the opening at line 2 will become a dart anchored with pins. I don't want a dart in my t-shirt. So now what happens? I'm just hoping that's going to give me the fullness I need without actually sewing a dart in. Okay, whatever I've managed to do, and please excuse the dreadful bit with the fact I've only run out of paper there. So I can squeeze it on. It's definitely better. They say you can go just a little bit short because of the stretch of the fabric. So that's definitely better. I think this will be better, the back of it, when it's a stretchy fabric, because at the moment I can't quite get all this under my arm. But that is definitely better, just with that 1/2 inch little bit there. As I've said about 100 times, the fact it's not a jersey and it's just literally paper on me is really hard to judge. But what I do want to do is take out that scoop there. So as I said, I basted the sides together and I've done the shoulders. I'm actually quite impressed. So I didn't do the dart, I just kind of distributed that extra bit of fabric between there and there. And I have to say, there's no, I mean, obviously the sleeve isn't on yet, so anything can happen, but I've got no lines either side. Maybe a tiny one there. Yeah, I'm also quite pleased that it doesn't come down too low because I forgot to alter that. Because I didn't want it tight and I was worried about it coming on tight, I graded out, from there I graded out to a 12, the next size up, which again I'm very pleased with. I see it's too long, t-shirts are always too long on me, but I like cutting them longer because then I can decide the length. So I can't really see the back, but I think the back's all right. It doesn't show those lines. I'm quite happy. I think I'm going to go ahead and sew this up properly and put the sleeves on and maybe finish it. So let's see what happens when I put the sleeves on. One sleeve is in, obviously. I'm still quite pleased. I have to say I'm quite pleased. I've got none of the normal kind of lines I normally get. Yeah, if I move my arm about, I've got a bit of a gap here, but I think that's just being picky. And obviously I've still got to put the neckband on. Now, what I normally do is even though it says to ease the sleeving and things like that, with jersey, I tend to put them in on the flat. Couldn't do that because I'd already sewn at the sides. But again, I didn't do any ease stitches. I just kind of spread it and distributed the fullness, and it's worked really nicely. So I'm actually liking this t-shirt. So I'm going to go ahead now, put the other sleeve on, finish it all off, and see how I get on. Okay, this version is all done. I have to say it's not bad. It's not perfect. Am I ever going to find perfect? I don't know with a t-shirt, but I have to say it is a lot better. I really like the shape of it actually. It fits really well on the shoulders, and I like the fact that I just gave it a little bit more room there rather than being clingy. I took about an inch off the bottom and I did raise it up an inch. I like it when it just kind of gathers there. So I am really pleased. Put the V-neck in. It's a little different in the instructions to how I've done the one before. Apologies for my phone dinging away. But yeah, I am very pleased with this, and I think I'm going to go on and make another. Kind of liking the V-neck on me actually. It's not something I normally do, but I'm kind of liking it for a change. So yeah, number one complete. So as you can see, this one was a success. And as I said in that video, I then went on to make a second one. Now, I made the V-neck obviously first time round, so I thought, okay, I'll explore the whole pattern, and I went on to make the cropped sleeve version. I did have a striped fabric, so I thought I would have a go at that. And that's where it kind of went a bit pear-shaped, as we call it. So here we have, this is the second version, and I feel I'm back to square one again. Same cotton jersey, but look what we have. We've got the lines back again. Now, I have to say they were a lot worse before I did something else. So, I mean, I'm being picky. It looks fine, it looks great, it's wearable, but what we were out to achieve was try and get rid of those lines. Since filming this, since deciding to do this pattern and doing the FBA and all those adjustments we made, a viewer has actually contacted me to say that what could actually be the problem is nothing to do with this area. It is the armhole is too high up. The arm side needs to be bigger. And I think she could well be right. And I have researched some videos, one particular video by J Stern Designs, and I'll put that down below, about altering the arm side to get rid of these lines here. This t-shirt was actually worse before I did something, and what I've actually done is raise up the sleeve just a little bit, and that actually got rid of some of the lines here. So this isn't exactly as in the pattern. I have just raised it up a little bit, and as you can see, if you do that, then it does make it a bit better. So going forward, I am definitely going to explore the arm side problem, because it does come up high on me. So whether it should be lower, then I wouldn't get all this, then that's definitely something to look into. But going back to the collab, I had success with this. Maybe it was the fact it was a V-neck, and you've got obviously a bit more gap here. I'm definitely going to do another V-neck from that pattern as it is and as I altered it, because it was successful. This one, because you've got so much more fabric, If it was V-neck, it might have been a bit easier. But I won't be doing this one again because it's exactly the same as all my others. Izzy and I obviously have been talking, and we have said all this was a huge amount of effort to go for just for a t-shirt, when there are a million t-shirt patterns out there. As for the pattern tissue fitting method, it was great to explore. It was good fun. It was something different. It's always good to keep learning. But what I did learn is you need two people. There's no way you can do it on your own. You need a sewing buddy to help you do it. If you were doing it on something other than a t-shirt, maybe it works, but I'm not convinced, and it was a lot of work. Now, of course, I wonder how Izzy got on. I am really intrigued because I don't know, and obviously when this video comes out, I will be discovering the same as you how Izzy got on. I'm guessing she didn't get on that well either from some of the hints she's given me, so you have got to go and check that video out. If you've come over from Izzy, well, I hope you've enjoyed my versions. One success, one kind of meh, why did I bother with all the effort? But definitely wearable, certainly going to wear it. I like it, it's red stripe, that's what I wanted. So thank you very much for joining me. And if you've made any of these Palmer Pletch patterns and done the whole tissue fitting thing, I'd be really interested to hear how you've got on with it, if there's any successes. Thank you. Join me again in my sewing room, and I'm always here on a Friday with #ReadySews. So I will see you all shortly, and goodbye. Happy sewing.